Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program Business Morning, live from Abuja, Nigeria's political capital. I am Bosun Amofaye. Let's get together for the next 1 hour, sharing this space, discussing the top business, economic, investment, and markets news and information together. The world, global markets correcting itself after a bit of a slump on the day the Americans decided Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States, the 45th president that is. As we speak, all the markets in Asia, including India subcontinent, finished in the green. Right now, the European markets about 2 hours into session, and that's also all green, about 1.5% on average. The futures on Wall Street are also in the green, ranging from the Dow Jones to the Nasdaq as well as the S&P futures. The dollar index around 98.27 as we speak against the Japanese yen at about 104. That's some of the news. At the commodities markets, gold is trending higher. Silver is also climbing, all in the green today as investors and traders get back to business, having seen the end of a blistering campaign between the Republicans and the Democrats over the last couple of months. Now the market is settling in for the final trading weeks in 2016. But here at home, let's see what's making the news. The state of Nigeria's economy and the markets. Let's get this straight up and there for you. Today and tomorrow, the Ministry of Budget and National Planning under Senator Udoma is conducting a 2-day retreat on economic and budgetary planning for the government. This is part of the economic plan of the Buhari's administration. And being part of this team, and not just the ministry officials, but retreat also include a number of economic and financial experts that we already cited. You get news out of this 2-day retreat from today here on Channels Television. Part of ramping up activities for the year and planning for 2017 under the Budget and Planning Ministry. Meantime, tomorrow, Friday, November the 11th, will be exactly 1 year since Buhari's cabinet were named after he took office on May 29, 2015. We'll get a bit of an analysis and insight into the performance record of the cabinet over the last 365 days. Cheta Nwanze from SBM Intelligence is expected in the studios, Lagos that is, to talk us through a new report they just put together rating the performances of the various ministers and their portfolios in the last 1 year. So stick around for that. Meantime, we have a raft of economic data for the rest of November. The third quarter GDP data will now be released in about 2 weeks from now. Jobs creation and unemployment data also from the Bureau of Statistics as well as October inflation are also on tap. All that will be very heavy from Monday the 14th. That's next week when we get back to business. And of course, look at the rest of what you see there. The final Capital Markets Committee meeting of the Securities and Exchange Commission, that is the opposite of the central bank's monetary policy. This is where all the market operators, financial advisors, legal advisors, all the securities exchanges come together to have a meeting, and they will discuss the roadmap for the market for the final time in 2016. The next meeting will be in the first quarter of next year. So this is the final meeting for 2016. You don't want to miss that. That will be in Lagos on November the 24th. That's later next year. That's about 2 days after the central bank would have conducted its monetary policy committee. It will be very, very crucial. And the election of Donald Trump as the president-elect for the United States, who will be holding office in January 2017, will be a key consideration for the Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee when it meets on Monday and Tuesday, November 21 and 22nd. The announcements, as usual, at 2:30 local time on Tuesday, November the 22nd. You don't want to miss that as well. Interest rate will be key on top of the agenda. Meantime, Nigeria's House of Representatives says they're ready to conduct investigations into the activities of some wonder banks, and that they consider due to public complaints that Ponzi schemes are rising in Nigeria. The Securities and Exchange Commission and the Central Bank have spoken on this. Now the lower house of legislature is weighing into these concerns about the activities of some of the wonder banks that are now rearing their ugly heads in the Nigeria's marketplace as the economy dithers. So that's a bit of a summary of where the markets and economy is right now. You need to keep your eye on that. But of course, there's no let-up in the market downturn as far as the stock's concerned. But we'll get to that in about a minute. Let's get over to Lagos, where Olumide Macaulay, my colleague there from our newsroom, has a bit of a bigger package of what's making headlines right here on Channels Television, where news comes first. Olumide Macaulay, good morning. Unfortunately, I had to step out of town and sticking around here. Apologies, we couldn't do this side by side as we always do. Good morning.
Good morning, Bosun. If you got to go, you got to go, but you're still here with us. Welcome to Headline News. There is massive protest in 15 different cities of America today as angry citizens blocked major highways with various placards showing rage for the victory of President-elect Mr. Donald Trump. In Los Angeles, Washington, and New York, anti-Trump protesters blocked the highways, saying most of them don't feel safe about the outcome of the election. Many are curious to see how President-elect Donald Trump will handle this, as Americans say they need assurance from him that he will be president for all. Some of the areas the protesters are unsure of are his immigration policies, his approach to American Muslims, and gender issues. In Nigeria, in Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike has raised an alarm over what he describes as a calculated plot to sweep the matter of the printing of fake INEC materials in the state under the carpet. The governor, who was briefing journalists in Port Harcourt, the state capital, explained that the matter has been moved to Zone 6 Police Command, a move, he adds, may jeopardize investigations. Governor Wike asked the electoral umpire to use the opportunity to reaffirm its credibility, which he thinks has been threatened by inconclusive elections. And the Senate has withdrawn a bill seeking to establish a grazing management agency which will ensure the creation of grazing areas across the country. The bill, which was sponsored by Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso, was withdrawn along with two other similar bills sponsored by Senators Barnabas Gemade and Chukwuka Utazi. While Senator Gemade's bill seeks to establish a National Ranchers Commission for regulation, reservation, and control of ranches, Senator Utazi's bill is seeking to control movement of cattle in Nigeria. Finally, in the United States, once again, Donald Trump, emerging president of the U.S., was not the only win from that election on Tuesday. A former refugee, a Somali-born activist, has been elected as an MP in the U.S. state of Minnesota. 34-year-old Ilhan Omar became the highest-ranking Somali elected to the office in the United States. Celebrating her victory, Omar said she will become the voice for the marginalized in the state parliament. You can find details of these stories and more on our website, channelstv.com. Business Morning continues with Bosun Amafaye in Abuja. Bosun?
Olumide, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Let's move on rapidly. We have a lot to talk about the market, but let's start from the FMDQ. The markets went a little bit bearish. Treasury bills and FGN papers on Wednesday. This is a bit of a review of the midweek activities for you, so stick around, look at these few pages. We're going to bring it up on your TV screen right now. A bit tepid at the bond market. It's been like this for a couple of days. Why things will be sluggish, we're trying to find out. But of course, the total transactions across the FGN bond via the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange was lower than 5 billion yesterday, 4.7 billion naira to be precise, just about 7 transactions. But these are the top 4, as it were, the most actively traded, 1.5 billion naira in the 13 February 2020 maturing government paper. The rest were in hundreds of millions of naira, and that shows the market was actually a bit sluggish, a bit of a sell-off there. Some analysts are reporting about 10 basis points higher on the yield curve across the FGN papers at the secondary window. Look at how things stack up there. Look at the right side of the screen, and you can see the transactions mostly in single digits. 15 deals was the most active there. Flip that to the treasury bills, and you find a bit of remaining bullish in terms of how investors perceive how things are going and try to cash in on the attractive yields, or what you call interest, that you get if you buy the treasury bills of the central bank, basically federal government of Nigeria. That means you're borrowing the Nigerian government money at the rate that you're looking at there, the second column. That's if you buy February 23rd, 2017 maturing paper, you'll be getting 17.05%. That was like yesterday market. And look at how investors are piling activities into the treasury bills maturing 17th of November. That will be sometime next week. And you can see that 175 deals, 43.75 billion. In total, 169 billion. So quite a lot to talk about. We'll talk about the currencies market and some wacky news about all of that.